It's the Daily Dog.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today on a Monday. It's a Metal Monday. It's the start of a new week, and I am happy that you are joining me because it's been way too long since I listened to music that is sung by Ronnie James Dio. I've been in a little bit of Dio withdrawal. Okay, so I needed to get back to some music by Dio, and of course he's been in several groups, but I am going back today to Rainbow, and this is the rock supergroup that was formed by Ritchie Blackmore in 1975, along with Ronnie James Dio as the frontman. So as far as this band is concerned, I have only reacted to Rainbow once previously, and that was a song Stargazer, all the way back in episode 146. So if you want to dive back into the archives a bit, you can take a look at that reaction. I remember it fondly. The story of this band, Ritchie had come on the scene as a founding member of Deep Purple, right? So Deep Purple in the early 70s toured with a band called the Elves. And Ronnie was the lead singer for the Elves. And so when Ritchie decided to leave Deep Purple to start his own group, he turned to Ronnie to be the lead singer. Quite fascinating, right? And I think they did 3 albums with Ronnie as the singer for Rainbow. And Gates of Babylon is from that 3rd album called Long Live Rock and Roll. It was released in 1978. Let's see. After taking a break from recording this album in the spring of 1970 for a European tour, the band returned later in the year to finish the album, yielding Gates of Babylon as the last recorded track to be included on the album. So we've got Ronnie James Dio, lead vocals, co-songwriter and lyricist, Ritchie Blackmore on guitar and also co-songwriter. Bob Daisley is on the bass, David Stone is on keyboards, Cozy Powell is on drums and percussion, and they have the Bavarian String Ensemble joining them today. So let's get it, y'all. This is Gates of Babylon. As I read into the lyrics, it's going to be a quite topical story. We've got a classic Temptation story coming at you. So let's take a look at Gates of Babylon. I am making use of the 2012 remastered studio edition. Off we go. That is not how I was expecting it to start. Danger. That would be subtonic. Raw. Yeah. That low note's an E. Check that out. Okay, they got my attention. It sounds a little bit like Jesus Christ Superstar. Okay, so they're going to straight 4, but Ronnie's singing in large triplets. Nice. A little move to the 5. They're back to it. Cool. Sleep with the devil and then you must pay. Nice. Sleep with the devil and the devil will take you away. This is... Gosh, that's lay to soul. That's a high C to a high B. interesting. Okay. This is that same move to the 5 that they did before. G, A. Nice. That goes to the 4. Making use of that half step above the 5th of that one. That's the A chord. Back down to E minor. Rock and roll. That's a harmonic major scale that they're using in the background. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, y'all, it's a classic temptation story. Satan himself is the one speaking, trying to lure us. Okay. Tritone. Whoa! This is cool, y'all. Got my thirds. So they're back where they came from. What is going on? That's got to be a sequential pattern, y'all. Flat 2 to 5 to 1. Couple different times. They're making use of that flat 2. Can't tell where they are. Get back to Look away from the sea, I can take you anywhere, spin the vision, with me a chase with the wind. It's calling on our, our weaknesses. It's a temptation song. I think you're ready to see the gates of Babylon. Okay, that's the repetition. And they land on that A. Thank you. Goes back down to the That's the end of the song. And they're an A. How about that? Well, that's kind of cool. Let me tell you a little bit about what I hear there. The whole time, they're in E. Right? The whole time. But because they're setting up the E with that harmonic sort of major scale, from the E you go up a half step, and then an augmented second, then another half step. So you get, it's like sol, la, ti, do, if you're going to A, but it's do, ra, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. It's pretty fun. thing. So sometimes they were in the straight minor scale. When they went down to E, it was like da dee da dee da da dee da da dee da da dum all the way down. But sometimes they included the G sharp on the way down as part of that harmonic minor, or that harmonic major sort of idea. And that scale is like A harmonic minor, which is why it leads so well to A harmonic minor. That tetrachord with an E, an F, a G sharp, and an A is the upper tetrachord of A harmonic minor. If I started down on A, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. So that, right? That upper tetrachord, if you use it enough, it'll sound like you're an A, and that's where they ended. So maybe they finally did get to Babylon, which in this piece I think is a metaphor for hell itself. Whew. What a tune. What a tune. Culturally, Babylon is a historic area, right? In the Middle East. But in legend or mythology, I think Babylon has come to be understood as any place where there's a lot of people, it's a big city, and it's believed to be a place of excessive sort of luxury or wickedness or greed, or like where all of the seven deadly sins are present. That is one of the coolest rock/metal tunes, harmonically and from a use of chords and a use of riff. One of the more interesting ones I think that I've ever done on the channel, and I'm not being hyperbolic. They're making use of those really interesting alternating scales, and making use of that E as tonic for the whole time, and that half step above it as sort of that impending doom, or like there's danger coming. It's unstable. It's an unstable first interval from Do up to a half step above it. What we consider in movable Do solfege to be Ra, right? Do up to Ra. And it's got an unstable sound to it, an unstable quality to it, especially when you do it over the tonic note. Well, come to find out, they're setting up that E the entire song to be the gateway, to be the catalyst, to get you to resolve you to a new spot. And I think harmonically it matches with the overall theme of the tune. It's Satan himself, and he's using our weaknesses and our lust and our greed to tempt us into fulfilling our sinful ambitions. And when the time is right, if you sleep with the devil, you're going to pay. He's going to take you away, and it's going to be a magic carpet ride to the city of heavenly sin. And I think it's just a warning, like, pay attention, y'all. There's going to be temptations out there. Stay the course. Okay? Don't let those impulses, those natural impulses, take over what it means to be you, right? And don't become sort of a slave to those impulses, and everything's going to be okay, I think. Whew. That was a heck of a ride, y'all. What a Monday, the way to start off. Gates of Babylon from Rainbow with Ronnie James Dio singing, with Richie Blackmore on the guitar, and Bob and David and Cozy along with them. That was fun, really fun. I thank you for hanging out with me today. I think that made sense. I need to listen to that a couple more times to get everything that was in there. You know what? Before I stop, another reason why it's so fantastic, that middle section, they were taking that riff of a flat second scale degree to the 5 and then to 1. They did it a couple of times, and when you move from flat 2 to 5, that's a tritone too. So it's they're just moving that devilish interval, and they're making use of it in some really inventive ways. So I have nothing but praise for the Gates of Babylon by Rainbow, and I'll try to get back to some more of them before too long. But that is all for today, and I thank you for hanging out with me. We'll see you next time on another edition of the Daily Dog.